Hello everybody, and welcome. Welcome to this new episode of Under the Label, my series dedicated to experimental music labels and their releases. This is the 8th episode, so yeah, it's becoming kind of, a sort of a weekly date, at least for me. And also, of course, now I'm back. Hello, Pilbug. I'm back to work, so I just finished my shift at my job, and yeah, went back home running, not running, in my car, obviously, and yeah, have a little break, and now back in the live stream for a super nice selection of electroacoustic music for tonight, because tonight we are going to listen to Oak Editions, which is a parallel project created from Archivio Italiano Paesaggi Sonori, which is an association that we talked about on Sunday during the last live stream on Sunday of the Contemporary Music Talks. We were talking about soundscapes and acoustic ecology, and yeah, this is one of the interesting projects in Italy that works in this field. And yeah, they started a label in 2013, I think. Now the project is a bit on hold, so we are going to listen to some, not really fresh stuff. It's super fresh actually, but yeah, it was released between 2013 and 17. So yeah, the most recent thing has 3-4 years, and yeah. How are you tonight? I'm a bit tired, but also I'm super happy to be here on Livestream and to share with you, especially this selection of music from Oak Editions, because yeah, I listened to a couple of things today before going to work this morning, to make a little bit of a selection. And the things that I listen to are beautiful stuff. A couple of reminders before we start with the listening session. On Friday, I'm going to release the second album of my trilogy of album called Sound Sculpture. So yeah, it will be out on Bandcamp and only there. Sound Sculpture 2, it's the name of it, and you are listening to it in the background right now, and also I put it in the background at the beginning on the waiting screen, so yeah, a little bit of a glimpse. Yeah, second release, and the third one will be released on the 28th of May, so Sound Sculpture 3 will be out on the 28th of May. So yeah, don't forget to check the Bandcamp, actually, if you like what you're listening to. Sound Sculpture is a sum of all the latest type of works and researches in the no-input field. Actually, they are recordings of live performances. The first album is from a live stream that I made, I don't remember exactly when, but not that, like 1 month ago. And yeah, it's a 3 hours and a half long improvisation of drone, no input, electroacoustic stuff. No, it's not electroacoustic, it's just pure electronic and no input stuff. The second album is made always with no input mixer, the third one too. And yeah, they are kind of the latest things. The point that I reached. This is a sort of concept album about the idea of using electronic sound, not as sound matter, but like a sort of physical and something that you can touch. That's why I decided to call them sound sculpture, because they are more of a physical object in space, more than sound, simply sound. Anyway, hope you have some time to relax tonight too. Yeah, obviously after this live stream I will go and crash on my bed and sleep like a baby. Thank you, Deepwit. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope you are all fine anyway, and yeah, let's take a quick look into Archivio Italiano Paesaggi Sonori, which is the main project. Archivio Italiano Paesaggi Sonori means Italian archive of Italian soundscapes. So yeah, this is the main project, and then they started, of course, a little label where they released all their, artists, and for example, they did a lot of site-specific installations, and so they released the music afterward in the label. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. Let's move directly to the website of Archivio Italiano Paesaggi Sonori. Which is it's a great example of of a concept that starts to become something more and become something really active in the field, on the field. For example, I want to show you a couple of things that they are doing recently, because of course the releases are kinda old, 3-4 years old, but they are still working on stuff. And for example, this is a super nice podcast. Unfortunately, it's only in Italian, because it's called Lock Sound, Suoni in Trappola, and it's a series of 11 interviews to electroacoustic musicians during the lockdown. So yeah, for Italian native speakers, or for people who are learning it, etc., etc., this is super interesting. And it's their most recent project. So let's move on to the label releases. Oak Editions, it's the label that they started, and yeah, we can start with the single track called Nostalgia Robot, or Robot. Let's read the description. A multimedia project by Alessio Ballerini and Silvia Candelaresi. Nothing more to say. Nostalgia Robot. And that was Nostalgia Robot by Alessio Ballerini and Silvia Candelaresi. Yeah, I think it's a good introduction for what we are going to listen to tonight. And also it gives you a little bit of the idea of the overall mood of the releases of this label. But yeah, there are many differences between every release, and of course there are many artists with many different visions on electroacoustic music and field recordings and soundscapes. So the next listening, it's called Flow Sign by Francesco Janniko and Teo Allegretti. Francesco Janniko is the founder of Archivio Italiano Paesaggi Sonori and of Oak Editions. So, of course, he is the mind behind all this project, together with other people. Let's read the description so we can have a little bit of an idea of what we are going to listen to. The project Flow Signs was born by the encounter of Francesco Janniko, electroacoustic musician and video artist, with Teo Allegretti, ambient jazz pianist and composer, based on a common poetic and musical sensibility that favors natural landscapes, surreal environments, and rich interior scenarios, such as particular places from which emerge suggestions that would provide a different view also of our daily life worlds. The flow can catapult us into a mental state of conscious unawareness, as though being swept away by a current of water, and similarly Francesco Janniko, laptop field recording, objects, guitar, and Teo Allegretti, grand piano, prepared piano, with such an expressive approach, create a single cinematic and visionary stream. The intuitive, improvised, and atypical use of the piano, dropped within ambient and minimal atmospheres and enriched by contemporary jazz strokes, moves hovering always on the lookout for a blend with the interventions brought into play by the other artists that are realized in real-time reprocessing of sound material, distended atmospheres created thanks to the help of pads, glitches, rattles, squeaks, and sounds of memory. Thurston Moore, Sonic Youth, wrote about Francesco Janniko, this young Italian electroacoustic composer in whose work we can hear tendrils of everything from Luigi Nono to Toru Takemitsu. Filled with odd details, the music is fascinating. Francesco Janniko and Teo Allegretti, Flow Signs. And that was Flow Signs by Francesco Janniko and Teo Allegretti. Very nice, super nice, and yeah, the minimalism in these compositions, it's such a difficult matter, because you need to be really careful when you have such precise and strong elements, and at the same time they are so few, very few, that you can make them too big or too small for the overall composition. So yeah, it's a really difficult balance between all the elements that you're using in your compositions. Super nice album. And now we are moving on to another release by Oak Editions, with a very different approach, because Pietro Riparbelli created uncodified signals for an installation, that used the shortwave radio frequencies and receivers, put in a specific space. I think that you can see here, probably there are a few elements of the installation in the cover artwork, a few pictures, 2 pictures combined, probably. No, it's 1 picture. Okay, and yeah, let's read the description so we can a little bit understand what's going on. Sound performance and sound installation with short-wave radio receivers and with 2 runic sound sculptures. Sound shape 2 and 3 Ansus Torisas, used as audio speakers of the event. After the concert, the sculpture will remain there to create a sound installation related to the environment. So yeah, these 2 elements here are 2 sound sculptures that are used as speakers for the shortwave radio receivers. Yeah, so this is a composition. This is an site-specific installations that uses the shortwave radio frequencies to generate sounds into a space. And I think this is some recordings of some of the moments. When I shifted from pre-writing to improvisation, I learned leaving empty spaces is key. Yeah, true. Leaving empty spaces, it's something that you need to learn as a composer, because obviously the relationship between sound and silence is fundamental when you write or improvise music, actually. In both cases, the relationship between silence and sound is so important, and obviously silence is a huge part of what music it is. That's why I really love minimalism, because it can handle really carefully all the few elements that he uses, at least as a general and overall idea. Anyway, Pietro Riparbelli. Uncodified signals. and that was Uncodified Signals, a little glimpse into Uncodified Signals by Pietro Riparbelli. Yeah, working with radio frequencies is super interesting for me too, as I said in the chat before. And yeah, I have this idea. Actually, this is an idea for a composition that I'm for sure doing in quite not that much time. So it's a quite near composition that I'm gonna do. I want to use radio communications, not just radio transmissions like shortwave radios, etc., etc. Because my father has a long passion for radio communications. He started doing radio communications back when he was a teenager. He has antennas on his house, and he used them a lot, big antennas for radio communication to communicate with other sides of the world. And I discovered talking with him that there are different type of languages in radio communications, and there are some languages that are based on different tones, scales. There are some languages that are based on, intervals, etc., etc., etc. So the idea for this composition that I want to make is to have him doing a session of radio communications and to manipulate the sounds in real time from the communication themselves. So the piece will be called To Communicate, actually, and of course it's a reflection and on the distance, the presence, the way that we use to communicate, the sound that travels, the sound that we cannot hear but that travels, the frequencies that travels and crosses mountains and hills and kilometers. There are waves of sounds that are, larger than mountains, for example, or shorter than, millimeters. So yeah, the idea of working with a radio communication session, which is unpredictable sound source for me. It's as usual, I like to work with unpredictable sound sources. This is an unpredictable sound source that I can work on with live electronics, so processing the signal and transforming it and reacting to what happens in a normal, completely normal and not too much guided session of radio communications. So of course I will leave everything to my father and his experience in this kind of stuff, and just taking the signal and working on it, and then of course the result will be the final composition that can be replicated again and again with a different result for every different radio communication session. So yeah, I think it's a good idea and something that I need to work on. Just talked with him a couple of days ago about this thing, and we will do it for sure. Anyway, let's move on to the next release by Oak Editions. The next one is called Field Notes by Nicola Croce. And yeah, let's read the description. The project. Walking soundtrack is a dedication to geography, to movement, to voyage crossing. A singing for the road sounds, it tells the history of a multitude of inner fragments coming together to shape a context. This project was born going through field recording electronic music and acoustic universe, combining writing and improvisation to the casualty of the soundscape's textures. 2012 is the year of the publication of Tightrope, a work where Nicola di Croce, guitar, laptop, and field recording, first composes distinct textures of different levels with the help of a large group of musicians. Born after an intense period of travelings and recording, Field Notes is a travel journal where the sound stream alternates soundscapes very different one from another. Here personal moments communicate with spaces that are wide and thin, and both the writing and the instrumental parts articulates themselves into an overlapping of tales and directions. Nicola di Croce, Field Notes.
Croce per stare sempre più bello.
giusta presenta il DJ? Diciamo, ok. adesso si faceva festa in campagna, tutto a pianura, facevano questi pescati, e si cantava, si...
E si cantava.
Poi, no,
No, non quando siamo proprio con mamma lì. Sua Marisa è bello, però
Sì,
lei
bello.
no, però.
Beh, dai, fallo, non se ne parla più, tanto mica ne conosce.
Oh, sì.
And that was Nicola di Croce with Field Notes. Super nice album. Really, really strongly suggested. As we said in the chat, it's a sort of, audio documentary with, of course, a lot of musical things inside of it, and sort of, metaphors, musical metaphors of what happens in the field recordings. So, following, for example, in this last track, there is this train rhythm from the field recording that is the starting point for the composition of the instruments that are playing during the track. So, yeah, super interesting, super nice, really enjoyed it. Field Notes by Nicola Croce. And I think we are at kinda in the end of the stream, and we are going to listen to one last release from Oak Editions. The album is called Agosto 14, August 14, and it's from Roberto Begini. Let's read the description. Also in this one, there is a strong use of field recordings, and as you saw from all, or as you listened to from all the things and the releases that we listened to tonight, field recordings and soundscapes are the main matter of all this project of Oak Editions and of Archivio Italiano Paesaggi Sonori. So yeah, this album is specifically based on field recordings. Let's read the description so we can, go a little bit deeper. August 14, Agosto 14 began as a collection of material recording during a stay in southern Italy. The initial goal was simply a journal of soundscapes, but I later realized I could not leave this material untouched. I felt an irresistible calling to manipulate the recordings, add other sounds, give it structure, make my music. I had explored a place. This was my call for narration. Each piece of Agosto 14 starts with a personal collected concrete sound and evolves in a musical way. In the opening track, there are the sounds from the Scala dei Turchi, a sedimentary rock cliff in southern Sicily. In August, the place is white and big, filled by sunlight, reflections, and human noises. In Messina, I caught some weird concrete sounds from the port and the boats as they were passing. The center is filled with this repetitive mechanical sound, like a rhythm was coming from the boat's core. The third piece is an interval, a concrete composition from studio and field materials recorded in Rome. There are some objects manipulating studio sounds and a bass drone coming from my home refrigerator. The last piece, Solitude, starts from a soundscape of Favignana Island. At night, one of the rare places you can still record a pure soundscape, devoid of human noises. Recommendation: this work would better affect your listening experience with headphones. Roberto Begini, Agosto 14. And that was Agosto 14 by Roberto Begini. So yeah, I think we are kinda in the end of this live stream. But yeah, we can make a last listening. Kinda different from what we listened to before, maybe. Yeah, let's take a look at another releases from Oak Editions to close this live stream. Yeah, we still have a couple of minutes, so we can listen to some more music. Let's go with Beautiful Ground. We started with Alessio Ballerini in the beginning of the episode, and we closed the episode with Valerio Ballerini. And we will listen to one of the tracks from his Beautiful Ground. I went 3 million years. And that was it for tonight. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Facca, for the Prime. Do it also next month, Facca. Sorry. Il Facca is one of my friends and also one of my colleagues at work. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. There were some very interesting and also very good music tonight. I'm super sleepy and super tired right now. And yeah, I hope to see you on Friday. Yeah, on Friday also. Reminder on Friday. There is going to be the release of Sound Sculpture number 2. Oh, no problem, Brumata, and thank you, Opsup. Thank you very much. Super happy that you enjoyed it. Super happy that we had this, little glimpse on many different approaches to the soundscape as a source of composition in contemporary music. So yeah, I think it was a really nice listening session. I really enjoyed it, even if I'm super tired. And yeah, see you on Friday. Friday I will be live at 9 p.m. UTC. I don't know your time zone exactly, but yeah, I will publish in the stories of my Instagram a countdown, so I think it's connected to your specific time zone. So if you follow my Instagram page, you can go there and check it out, or use a time zone converter on the internet. There are a lot of them. So for me it's 11 p.m. For you it will be, I don't know, so 9 p.m. UTC on Friday, and also on Friday I will release Sound Sculpture number 2. So thanks everyone for watching, and see you next time. Take care of yourself, stay safe,